All right. So I want to welcome you, Pawan. Thank you so much for taking time today. Want to congratulate you for your career breakthrough, the results that you've got, and this is the Hall of Fame where I want to, talk to you and hear your story and share it with others. So welcome.
Thank you, Rajat, for having me here. I, you know, I am honestly filled with gratitude because you have your valleys and peaks in your life, in your career, right? And and about 8 months back, I had a real peak, and I ended up leaving an organization with so much confidence, thinking that I will do so well in the next one that I join because it was a startup and I was so excited. However, as it says, sometimes your value system, the value system of the organization that you've joined in, do not align. You do not really feel that you don't get a sense of belongingness. You just don't feel that you have the ecosystem where you can apply your strengths to deliver the outcome that you want to deliver for the organization as well as for yourself, right? And that started slowly trickling into becoming a, a valley for me as far as the career was concerned, right? So around September, I went into a pretty much of a difficult zone. Let's put it this way, and that's when I think I got in touch with you, right? And it was for another program where I wanted to experience my understanding around the whole customer experience ecosystem. However, what translated after that was very interesting because I think you simultaneously wanted to start off the strengthen program, which I was not very aware of to begin with. But I wanted to be the guinea pig for you, to be honest, to see how we can actually find the value of it. Because I definitely, one thing that's very true with me is that I'm not scared of trying things, right? So I went into this program with you without much thought and without much expectation, because as it is, life was on a downhill, right? So what worse could happen, right? And so you go into that program, and then you start finding that this is the moment, this is the point from where things will start going up. Why? Because you get to realize yourself a little better, right? The whole program, as it moved along week on week, made me realize about who I am, what my value system is, what my strengths are, and how I can replicate those strengths in my work environment to actually get the best for myself. And probably because I did not have a view to that, maybe I would have struggled in the previous organization as well, right? So getting that view was so extremely crucial for me to understand that it is all about realizing who you are. And once you get a good idea of that, I think working with others, working with the companies that you're working for, working with the people that you're working for becomes a lot easier, because then you're always trying to understand and see things from what the strengths are and how can you partner, how can you bring in that strengths partnership to deliver the outcome that you want to. Because you can only do as much, you can only think as much, but you can do so much more when you are working with a team. And that's where the concept of strengths partnership, because my strengths of maximizer, connectedness, responsibility, relator, arranger may not have the strengths that I would like the strategic aspect of it as much. And so getting that idea was very, very crucial on how I can collaborate. And once I started looking into things from that perspective, collaborating with others became a lot easier. Leading people or getting into a thought process where I could understand the other person's perspective became much more clearer. And that actually helped me gain the insight that I could eventually to have a better control on myself to begin with, and also have a better control on the relationship and the work atmosphere that I'm in with the individuals that I am in. So that's pretty much the outcome of that, Obviously, the whole program, and I'm going to speak a little bit more on the program and how it benefited me, because it spoke so much about so I had this very aha moment that I'd like to say, and this was the session that I could not attend, and my cohort was there, and I think you and the cohort recorded the session and shared the video, and I had an interview to attend a couple of days later, and just the day prior I happened to see that video, and it was all about strength shower. It's all about envisioning that you're already successful, right? And you've done some great work, and finding the gratitude and the strength from it, right? And it wasn't about me doing, it was about people who have done it, and just by listening to their stories you could relate to what you have done throughout your career and what are the successes you have had. Once you go back into your memory and get the successes out that you have delivered for yourself and the organization, you realize that all the challenges that you currently have are very temporary.
Hmm.
There are bigger things that you have achieved, and there are bigger things you can achieve,
Amazing.
right?
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
so that gave me a lot of confidence. So when I went into this conversation with I think we had like two VPs, three senior directors in a panel,
As part
with
of
it.
your part of your interview process to get
Correct.
into the
You
new
know,
job. Yeah.
I just could feel so much confidence. I was not, I had not gone through that kind of an interview, but just being able to know myself better ensured that I did not have to pretend. I could just be my authentic self and play to my strengths while relating to the stories which I had, which I wanted to convey to them on how I lead people, how I deliver the outcomes that I do, right? And being able to tie all of that to the strength uh, thread, right? On how I use relationship to actually maximize the outcome that we want to achieve for ourselves. So that I think was a crucial piece of the whole journey on how this knowing myself, knowing my strengths, actually helped me crack that interview, because I could just align how I executed on things that I executed using the strengths that I had, and how each one of them overlapped while I delivered the value that I wanted to. So yeah, that's a bit
Amazing.
of a nutshell there.
Amazing. How long? Thank you so much, Pawan. I think the way you have imbibed this whole strengths construct right from building awareness about yourself, then you immediately applied it to first get more self-aware, and then using that to present your story and your case for when you appeared for the panel, in front of panel for the interviews and all, and then you had already evolved a vision to take it across
Yeah.
in your new role. So I think you've really covered a good continuum from one point to another, and really made a true leverage of this whole framework, which talks volumes about your sincerity and commitment for the leadership growth that each of us aspire to have.
Mhm.
I want to know from you what is the most, I think you did talk about it, but if you have to talk about the three top um, takeaways that helped you the most, what would be that in a crisp manner? So you can say, maybe awareness, maybe value proposition, maybe presentation, whatever. If you go back your memory lane and think about it through the entire journey, which are the ones which gave you some real significant uh, kind of benefited you the most?
Whenever I used to talk to any mentor or seniors or leaders that I've interacted in the past, and they would always say, "Be yourself."
Mm.
I just did not understand what it meant.
Mm.
Be yourself, right? After going through this program, I realized what is be yourself,
Mm.
right? So when you know your strengths, okay, you can be authentic.
Mm.
You don't have to cook up stories, right?
Mm.
So that was a key one there, right? You also know that your strengths will always be able to help you, but there will also be blind spots. And so being able to know how to use your strength is another aspect of it,
Mm.
right? And the most important aspect is you are not in the journey alone.
Mm.
You have a group of people that are going through a similar or same journey. So you can always rely on the group to share your thoughts, share your ideas, and get the strength from them as well on what you want to achieve. And that has gone a long way. Though if I have to point out three major things, these will be those.
Yeah. So you talk about being you, being yourself, big one. Second is blind spots, understanding of that while you talk about strengths. And the third is working with others and getting, working as, as a team and leveraging on others' uniqueness as well at the same time. These are the three things you talked about, right?
The three major ones.
Three major ones, right? Awesome. And I want to know from you, you said, you probably were in the valley, then you got self-aware, and then you leveraged it nicely. And I think I would see that you did it pretty fast. Everything kind of was really, really fast from even my view, right? So, what do you think about the speed of the speed with which it moved for you? How long it took for you to become from the journey of self-awareness to getting where you want to, getting into space where you want to. Tell me a little bit about that aspect of the, which is what from clarity comes, the speed of execution and speed of results. So tell me about your speed of outcomes, if you will.
Yeah, before I touch on the speed of outcomes, I'd like to be grateful for things that fell in place at that point in time,
Hmm.
right? So you coming into the picture, you starting a program with strengths. I very simultaneously, there is an opening coming up where I was getting a chance to get interviewed for,
Hmm.
uh, and then a couple of mentors coming into my life and giving me some guidance around how I should approach certain things from a leadership point of view, right? And then my own understanding of myself, right?
Hmm.
All of that started falling in place. So sometimes, the speed is a conjecture of how things fall in place for you, or how you
Hmm.
get them to fall in place.
Hmm.
If you can get these things fall in place, it'll be much easier for you to get the outcomes. So that is why I say I'm grateful for the universe who somehow got everything in place at the right time,
Hmm.
okay, which expedited the journey. So not
Hmm.
always you'll have the outcome. Sometimes you'll have to have the patience to get the outcome,
Hmm.
right? In my
Right.
case, I was a little fortunate,
Yeah,
right?
I
So
understand. Many things happened around the same times. You might have joined the program, but there were no opportunities, or you might have got the opportunity, but self-awareness wasn't missing.
right.
There were other systems, other mentors, other supports that you got. To all together, so many things came in to get you moving, and I think that helped you to accelerate this whole process to the outcome.
Exactly. So when you have all of these and then you get clarity in your mind on what you want to really do, right? What is that next venture you want to get into? Is that aligns to what you want to be not only delivering value for yourself, but also is that what you want to be doing long term? Is
Hmm.
that what you can relate to in terms of business? Do you relate to their vision and mission,
Hmm.
right? And all of that plays a huge role. And that vision and mission should not be on papers, right? So being able to find out the real vision and mission by talking to people in itself is also another story behind it, right? So being able to understand all of that aspect, being able to uh, uh, correlate all of that always helps you to kind of expedite the movement. So while things will fall in place, you'll also have to have that clarity on how you want to approach that. And once you have that clarity, not only about your strength, but also about what is that you hold in terms of the career prospects that you're looking at, and if that aligns to what you want to do for yourself, is very, very important, right?
Hmm.
And once
Hmm.
you have that clarity, then you know which companies you'd want to target for, and which are the ones that you'd be really seriously interviewing for to get the outcomes that you want. Because
Hmm.
all of these, there will have to be an intensive preparation. You cannot
Hmm.
just go in and get the outcome, right? Getting the clarity is one part of it, understanding the role is another part of it. Getting the guidance, maybe prep work for the interview is another, right? So there are a lot of things that you'll have to put in, so nothing will come in easy, right? You'll have to have the clarity, but nothing, there's no shortcut to success.
Hmm. And how did, if I have to ask you in different parameters, let's say professionally,
Mhm.
personally, and maybe financially,
Sure.
how would you see the movement? So when I say personally, you were in a valley, okay,
Sure.
so you were feeling something, right? And you move up the valley, and climb now. Probably you're still on the ride, still moving forward.
Sure.
Wherever you are, wherever you reached,
Sure.
that journey, how does it feel for you personally, professionally, and financially? You don't, just in your own words, you may want to share.
I was actually making a lot of money in the previous job.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of money. So money was not a problem. It
Hmm.
was the alignment of my own values to the values of the job and the organization that was aligned with. And if I could see myself long term with that organization, that is more of it, right? Because while the company was good, maybe sometimes your vision and the company's vision doesn't match, and sometimes don't things don't fall in place, right?
Hmm.
So so you essentially then try to figure out, uh, personally, I think professionally, the thing that I really looked for was, an environment where I could express myself a little more,
Hmm.
right? Where
Right.
I could think through situations and come up with ideas that we can co-create and implement and see the outcome. And so even if you have to fail, there has to be an opportunity to fail fast and quickly, gather ourselves from that and start delivering better outcomes, right? So you want that kind of a congenial environment,
Hmm.
right? And
Yeah, as
that
you said, freedom to be yourself and freedom to
Correct,
experiment.
correct. So professionally, especially for mid-career professionals, one part, at some point in time, money will not be the primary factor. At least it wasn't for me, right? Then you want to see how you can leverage your experience, how you can leverage your values, how you can leverage your strengths. Is that the right job that allows you to do that,
Hmm.
right? And if it allows you to do that professionally, you'll feel very satisfied,
Hmm.
right? Even if
Hmm.
you may not do everything right, but you know that you're trying and the ecosystem is allowing you to fail
Hmm.
and also recover from it,
Hmm.
right? So you actually will always be very happy in that environment. You'd want to put in 110%. um, so that was a big part of it. So professionally, from that valley of not being able to express myself, to be able to given the ground where I can express myself, where I can lead people, and I can also influence lives in a positive way, right? And actually, you'd be pretty happy to hear that, people that I've worked with, actually we have done some Gallup strengths as well, amongst ourselves. So I could help them with some of my understanding of strengths, by getting them to see what their strengths are, right? and,
Hmm.
and so it makes a lot of difference, and you can clearly see not everybody will obviously absorb it at the same pace, but you can clearly
Hmm.
see two or three have actually absorbed it very quickly, and now
Hmm.
they're playing it to their strength, and you can clearly see the outcomes they're delivering. So you're
Hmm.
very, very happy when you're seeing
Hmm.
that. So, one thing is that you're creating a value for yourself, the other
Hmm.
is what are you doing for the people around you, right?
Correct. That's a great. That's a great. I'm actually quite happy because whenever I do this work, I would want people to immediately apply it in their immediate sphere of influence, and I think you have been a great example of that, having done and been very, very proactive. So, Pawan, what is probably, if you have to
Mhm.
recommend, whoever is going to watch this, recommend it to people, the strengths based approach, this whole process of self discovery, knowing you. You said the top thing was being yourself, and everybody that you spoke to, the leaders always said be yourself, but this clarity has come in. So I want to know from you, whom would you advise this program or this strength space approach for, and why, if at all?
I am a mid-career professional. I was fairly successful, Then I went into a valley, and I still needed something this to gather myself back, right? Someone who's starting their careers, they can benefit because that's an amazing place to actually start. I wish I had something like that back in the days, right? So anybody, right? Anybody across the ecosystem, irrespective of their experience, tenure, can actually leverage this because their roles will have certain demands. And once you know exactly what your strengths are and how you play to it, you would actually find that working through people to deliver the outcomes becomes a lot easier because you'd always be able to not only see your own strength but also you'd be able to see the strengths of the others, and then you would focus on things like strengths partnership. You'd also look at delegating stuff that they are good at in terms of their strength, right? And because they will enjoy more, right? If you cannot expect a fish to climb up a tree,
Yeah.
right? You'll struggle.
Thanks for mentioning. Yeah.
Will struggle, right? So you will want the fish to be in the water, and that is exactly what you'd want to do. So when you know the strength, you're actually allowing the fish to be swim in the water, and he'll enjoy, he will prosper there, and that is what it does, right? As a leader, that is what it does, because that's a crucial aspect of leadership, is to how you see your people prosper, how you see your people enjoy the work. And what does it translate to? It relates back to your strengths, your innate ability, and you can realize your innate ability and execute on that only if you are given the ecosystem. So once you know your strengths, once you understand other people's strength, you're able to create the ecosystem together where they can prosper, and if they prosper, they become happy, obviously the outcome that we'll have for the organization will be much better.
Fantastic. I mean, really great to hear. And thanks for bringing that fish example. One of the things that I also commonly talked about. You just picked it at the right time for the right message. Great. So, anything as a closing note do you want to share? Thank you so much for sharing your experience. I want to know if is a last message as a closing note for this particular Hall of Fame interview you want to share.
Yes. So I will recommend this strengths and partnership or program not only when you are at your valley, but also when you are at your peak. Because when you're at your peak, and then when you start understanding how you can actually implement those strengths even more in the larger ecosystem, which can only happen when you actually know your strength. So knowing strength is one part of it, but in being able to actually completely convert that raw understanding of your strengths into mature understanding and being able to apply that and also be part of the program continuously so that you can continue to increase the value that you're bringing, because it is not going to have a full stop. It is always going to be a CSI, continual improvement, continual service improvement, for if I say so. So strength does not have a full stop. Okay, so you have to continuously be invested in it, and whether you are at a director, VP, senior director, agent, even if you've done the program, I think you should not go away from it. That is the message. Should continue to be invested in it, because that is what will help you realize more value for yourself as you move along the journey.
Amazing. Thank you, Pavan, for articulating that message that it's a continuous process. It's not just it has a defined beginning and end. It can have you can do it at any point of time in your career, and from there on you're no more the same. You learn to be yourself and you continue to become better version of your own self, right? So great message there. Thank you so much. For all the people who are watching this, if you want to know more about the Strengthen program that we run, you definitely can find the link below this video and click that and get more information. Thank you, Pavan. I want to once again acknowledge your time and the great work that you have done with the Strength On.
Thank you so much, Rajat, for having me. Thank you.